Now, the question one would ask is, how do you know? What are some of the symptoms and key signs that indicate that a man might be suffering silently?
Yeah, we call them vegetative functions. So if someone is struggling to sleep, someone is struggling with their appetite, someone is struggling to relate with people well, someone is struggling to function normally for their daily activities, so maybe they're struggling to go to work, they're struggling to achieve their expectations as human beings, they're they're just irritable and they're not able to live a life that someone would call a typical or a normal life. Yeah. And at that point, once you see that out of, let's say, 7 days in a week, maybe 4 days or most often you're struggling with either of those things, then it might be that it's time for you to seek mental health.
Now, in terms of ages, we're dealing with a demographic where, you know, a society where perhaps these mental health issues affect men at different ages. So in terms of, you know, when you look across the spectrum, how these mental health issues manifest themselves right from perhaps teen stage to the middle-aged men and to the elderly men. Let's just walk step by step about what you've observed in terms of how these mental challenges manifest themselves across different age groups.
Okay. So from the different age groups, first and foremost, the precipitating events are different. So a teenage male will struggle with identity. He will struggle with career options and understanding himself. He will struggle with schoolwork. When it comes to middle-aged men, someone who's
Let's first talk about the teens. You know, struggling with identity, struggling with career choices, struggling with with schoolwork in terms of homework. When you talk about the teens, where is the gap? How do they find themselves in this situation where they're struggling perhaps with self-esteem, struggling with career choices, struggling with even paying attention in class? How does a teen male find themselves in this situation?
Yeah, a teen male, first and foremost, which I think over the years we have learned to understand ourselves, is essentially a teen male will struggle because they have been taught as children to be competitive to start with. So even their play is competitive play, while a female is more of play that is nurturing play. So once they get into teenagehood, it's still competition and being competitive, and they wouldn't want to show off as showing being weak, and they're told, man up, be a man. So their presentation with mental health conditions will be very different, first as being a teenager. And studies and books have shown us that teenagers present very differently from an adult. So if they are probably, for example, depressed, they won't present with the normal people, or what people say that they are feeling sad, they feel like they are worthless or hopeless. They might just present with irritability.